I really hope everybody watched this final hearing from the January 6th panel. Everybody, I mean Fox News viewers, Donald Trump supporters, his base. I fear they won't. And it's a shame because, we all have something in common, and that is that we live in the United States of America and that we respect the Constitution and we want the institution to remain. At least I hope that's the case. Because what we saw in today's hearing was a man so unhinged, he was even referred to at one point as, Trump's in a bad place, let's not ask him to do anything more today. That was on the 6th of January. I mean, a guy who is so terrifying to his staff. People were terrified of approaching him. His own children couldn't get him on the phone. He has a temper. He's furious. His language, his aggression. He's unhinged. He was in a bad place. They said the staff were drained at the White House. After half a day of trying to get Trump to call off the riot? 187 minutes of Trump doing nothing while people were stabbed and shot and trampled at the U.S. Capitol. U.S. senators and congresspeople were in hiding. Senators then went back to work at 3 o'clock in the morning to certify the election results. Trump was left in peace because everybody, apparently, who worked for the administration was drained. They were a little bit tired. And then the next day, they forced Trump to make a video, and we saw the outtakes of this video, which was probably the most compelling aspect of today's testimony, because we got to see this unhinged wannabe dictator firsthand, being directed by his daughter and various aides to try and reshape the script so he didn't concede the election, didn't want to admit the election was over, lightly condemned the rioters, the very rioters that he himself had incited just a day before. And still he refused to concede. And still he pushed this notion that the election was in some way fraudulent, despite losing 60 court cases. I mean, this just goes to prove that all of these protections that are put in, various branches of government designed to keep checks and balances on each other, it doesn't work. And Liz Cheney did say in her summing up that they will be putting in something that will prevent this type of activity happening in the future. One person, a solitary man, a crazy, unhinged, self-absorbed egomaniac, refusing to accept his loss of a legitimate election, a loss by 7 million votes, it wasn't even close, can bring down an entire country. And for anybody who says, we nearly lost our democracy here in America, I have to say to you, you are blind. You lost your democracy. Democracy does not exist in the West. It's been downgraded by institutions who used to respect American democracy. Until Trump is indicted and prosecuted, until the entire group of people who were involved, from the former New York mayor to the boss of Overstock, all of these people need to be held responsible. General Mike Flynn, these characters who were once wearing medals and holding positions of responsibility in various administrations. None of them were trustworthy. They didn't just suddenly change their politics on a dime. These people have always been bad eggs. And they've infiltrated the legitimate system so that at some point, like a Trojan horse, they can just reveal themselves as being fascists. American democracy is dead. If you want to have a legitimate election in 2024, then you better do something about it. Whether that be activism or campaigning or peacefully protesting or writing to your congressperson or getting on social media. Make it known that what Trump did, what the people around him did, what they facilitated, should not be allowed to last. America needs to get its standing back in the world. And as long as Donald Trump continues to preach and spout this garbage, as long as he is a free man, America is not a free country. I'm Anthony Davis. You can hear me on the 5 Minute News podcast and on Sundays on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.